Right now, I want us to come back and talk about matters that relate to teenagers, and we are looking at hidden in plain sight, spotting early warning signs of and peer pressures, and this is with regard to matters that pertain to substance abuse. And given that data from NACADA indicates that substance use initiation can occur during the age of 13 to 15 years. So why is this age susceptible susceptible to this? And for that conversation, I'm joined by Joseph Odhiambo Odago, who is a substance abuse professional. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Karibu sana, and thank you for making time.
Welcome.
Yes. And now let's get into the conversation. You know, schools may be on recess, yes, but you know, the pressures facing children, especially school-going children, do not take a break. So what behavioral changes should parents pay close attention to, especially during this period that children are at home and they can distinguish a genuine warning sign from a normal adolescent behavior?
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you very much, the viewers. First of all, I'm Joseph Odhiambo. I'm the chair and the founder of Reform Wishi Poa, which is an organization that advocates against substance abuse. And I'm also a prevention professional trained by NACADA and other international organizations.
Yes.
I'm also a member of International Society of Substance Professionals, globally, and also Kenyan chapter. Before we go even to the early signs of substance abuse, we've talked about the status or prevalence of substance abuse in our country. Yeah. The statistics that was done by NACADA in the year 2022 says that it's about 4 million people who are going through substance and drug abuse. So this is a very big number, and from here I had also the president also lauded it and also spoke about it very strongly. The president, President Ruto, spoke about it strongly. So it's something that is, it's a calamity, it's a danger. Yeah. And the most group that is being affected is at the age of 25 to 35, which is a very productive age, you see, in our nation. So that tells you that in 1 out of 5 youth, one of them is using one drug at the same time. But you see now, the initiation moment is even lower than even what you've mentioned, 16 years of age.
13 to 15 years.
13 to 15 years.
Yeah.
It's even lower. It's at the age of 6.
6 years.
6 years. At the age of 6 years, your boy, your girl child has started to know either smoking, either cigarette or an alcohol or any substance around. Why? It is because it happens so because maybe in the house, in your house, maybe the maid, the shamba boy, the neighbors are using it. So it starts as early as that. And because of this, I would urge parents also to also put an emphasis on prevention, getting to know how to, what are the challenges, what are the early warning signs, and how they can tackle these in their families and also the teachers in schools and even at workplaces.
If parents are to prevent these cases from happening, what strategies should they employ?
One of the strategies that they should employ, they should learn to know the early signs. And that is why I'm doing prevention. I do prevention at home, in schools, at working place, and also in the community. And in prevention, we talk about how you can stop and reduce and also the taking of substance abuse. And that one involves the early signs and the peer pressure that have come also to discuss here. Yes. So one of the things that they can learn is that they need to learn on the early signs. A child comes up at the age of 6, there are certain queer behaviors that starts with examples which were not there. One of the queer or lifestyle is that the child just starts to be arrogant. he never used to be arrogant or she never used to be arrogant, she changes or he changes her attitudes, and moods also changes. You know, substance abuse alters the nervous system, and it changes moods and how the child behaves. So that is one of them. Another one is changes in school, at work. The child drops the performance. There's a boy, there's a girl who used to perform very well, and all of a sudden the performance stops and goes down drastically. So when a parent sees these, there are several of them. Another one is changes in friends and social relationship. You find somebody or a boy who never used to visit your house, or a group of teens who never used to visit your house, now they are coming into your house. And when you ask about them, the child becomes irritated, or he or she doesn't want to explain who are these. Those are some of the changes. And number 4 is physical signs. There are also some of the physical signs. You find that the child never had used not to have dents, or maybe you used to clean himself very well. But now, at one point, the child becomes rugged and sometimes dirty, doesn't want to take shower, comes home with injuries. These are some of the signs that should be noticed. Eye, you find sometimes the eye changes, it turns to be red, or slur talking. The child doesn't talk the way he or she used to talk. Though these signs are not majorly that when you see them,
you will
the
recognize
child
them.
is using substance of abuse. Some of these signs may come as a result of stress, depression, or maybe the child is going through something in the family. So it's upon the parent not to victimize, not to judge, but to call the child in a meeting and inquire, what is it that is happening with you? Nowadays, you're not doing this, and you used to do this. Can you tell us what is happening? Is there anything that you need us to discuss about in the family? So you don't judge and you don't victimize.
And that approach is very important in identifying what is going on.
Exactly.
And you know, sometimes a child becoming more private is not necessarily a problem. But then again, adolescence naturally comes with sometimes, you know, desire for independence.
Yeah.
At what point does now increased privacy become a sign that something is going on?
You know, at a point whereby the child doesn't want to come out of that somebody that doesn't want to come out of he or her bedroom.
Yes.
He stays in the bedroom the whole day, or maybe at night the person doesn't want to sleep. The sleep pattern has changed. Now you see, this one can cause a problem because stays awake at night the whole night, sleeps during the day, and that one was not normal. Maybe at our early stages. This one can call an alarm, cause an alarm. Ask, why are you staying awake at night? And you're supposed to be sleeping, or sleeping very late at night. You see,
and peer pressure, you know, it's often displayed as maybe a friend telling another friend, you know, try this. The aspect of maybe trying to fit in, and it can be a little bit subtle depending on how it's done. What are some of the less obvious forms of peer pressure that parents should look out for?
Now, I think we have not exhausted, sorry to take you back.
Yes.
We have not exhausted maybe the early warning signs. One of them is about finance. And when the child starts using alcohol or substance abuse, you will find that he or she will tend to be borrowing more, ask for finance frequently, or valuable things, items are starting to disappear in the house because the child doesn't have money, so he will pick your phone, sell it out, sell his own items. You see, those are also some early signs. Now, changes in daily routines also. So, going back to peer pressure. Peer pressure is an influence where you find a group of friends are tending to influence one person or your child to become the way they are. If they don't become the way they are, he is being labeled and called names.
So there is that aspect of trying to fit in.
Exactly. So the child will try to fit in. You're childish, you're weak, you see? You're not part of us. So the child will tend now to fit in into the group. That is what now brings the peer pressure. Now, there are some triggers that brings the peer pressure, the desire to belong. They're growing up in a society, in the vicinity, in a community, in school. The child will now want to have a sense of belonging. I also want to be part of this team, part of this group, and feel the way they feel. That is also one of the triggering factors of peer pressure. Yeah.
And when we are living in a time when the phone has effectively become another social environment for young people, how should parents respond when a child is physically present at home and spending hours in online spaces where they may encounter different problems and even matters of cyberbullying?
I think parents should connect first of all with their children at home. In substance abuse, there's what we call working families and unworking families. And you find that most of the unworking families that are not working are the families whereby you don't know what your child is doing. You don't know what he's thinking. But in the working, and that one, the families that are not working, makes it very difficult for you to follow your child and to know what, at a certain point, what he's doing, either with the phone or in other things, the social media. But in the working family, the parents tend to connect with their children, and it's a connected family, and they assist one another, and somebody is given an environment even to express him or herself. So in that situation, you will follow. You can even ask, John, you've been on phone for a long time. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are the sites that you're visiting? And because the child is also free with you, he or she will be free to explain to you, these are the sites that I'm visiting, and these are the things that I'm doing, you see. Because you're also following, the mom is following, and the dad is also following closely what they are doing with their phones.
And parents should not be afraid to limit screen time.
Yes.
And access to the internet.
Yes. Yes. The times that you also have to have a boundary. It's time now to do your studies. Please put down your phones, and this is study time, and you cannot now be on your phones. Yeah. And also parents also can also know the age where their children are now supposed to access phones. Not every child is, not every age group is supposed to access phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, more often than not, quote unquote, bad company is often associated with how a child behaves, especially if the behavior is not going as expected. But also, aspects of home environment can influence susceptibility to effects of drug abuse. How might these experiences now shape how a child relates with others, and especially resulting to drug abuse?
Exactly. That is a good question. You know, I've talked about working families. And in working families, that is where these things do occur in various families.
Yes.
Whether low, middle, or high class, they occur in our country or even outside our country, internationally or locally. But if you have a working family, the working family relationship between mom and dad will be key. How mom and dad relate in their family or in their relationship. So in our social and economical relationship should be key. Social relationship should be very much okay. And the way the parents are relating will impact so much on how the children will also behave and relate to them. In a case whereby a family, there are quarrels, dad and mom, they don't agree, they don't see eye to eye, that gives a room for the children now to do whatever they want to do at home. And it might go very far before you detect that our children have indulged themselves into substance abuse. And number two, also, parents also must be also role models. Role models of their children. You know, you find that dad is smoking at home, mom is also drinking at home. What do you expect? What are the children going to follow? They will emulate, they will start knowing this. They are exposed to substance abuse at a very early age. And that one can impact to our children negatively and to the society. And also maybe environment. We are staying whereby the family is staying at a place where there are joints, there are places children can access substance of abuse, alcohol and tobacco easily. That one can also affect the life of children.
And there's also a risk when it comes to how parents respond to warning signs, often with surveillance and punishment. Checking phones, imposing restrictions on movement, confronting the child aggressively. So my question to you is, at what point can discipline become counterproductive? And how can parents maintain boundaries while still creating those environments where the child feels free enough to disclose a problem?
You know, when it comes to discipline, there are many ways you can discipline your child. It's not necessarily that you use a cane, though the Bible says spare the rod and you spoil the child. But, you know, we are in a different era. We are in a different dispensation where children are also, they are educated.
Yes.
They know what they're supposed to do. They know their rights at the early stage. So I would prefer that at home, parents should form an environment, a conducive environment where the children can come up and express themselves freely and be heard.
Yes.
And also they create an environment where they can talk with the children freely, do life skills, go out, walk together, run together, have some talks. You see now, have some talks, they have a general talks, ask some questions. And also, I think that is quite powerful than taking a cane. In our old days, we were used to be beaten. And some of the beatings made us to be very hard, because I would do something knowing that, I'll just be caned and it will be over. So we became very hard on those things, and we could even do more of those things. I know you went through that at your age. So I think at this age, the children of today, they listen to what they're being told. They access social media. They know what is happening around the society. We were naive by then. We couldn't even know. We didn't know our rights. So I think parents should create a conducive environment and give children a space to express themselves and create dialogues and bring things like life skills.
Create dialogues. Very important aspect. We are going to look at mental health difficulties when we come back from this short break. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us right here on KBC Channel 1. You're watching Good Morning Kenya. Here we are dealing with matters of spotting early warning signs and peer pressure. And this is with regard to substance abuse. And, you know, Joseph, when it comes to these cases, mental health difficulties can sometimes manifest differently. We are talking about irritability, withdrawal, anger, loss of interest, and so many other things. So if a parent sees that, how can they tell the difference between ordinary teenage mood changes and also signs that a child may need psychological support?
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, in prevention, prevention involves taking care of the emotional and mental well-being. So that is a psychological effect that when you see your child behaving in a queer habits or changes moods, all of a sudden becomes irritative. If you had created a good environment for the child to express himself, you will know what is happening. But in a situation whereby, if it's just a normal case whereby the child is turning into teenage, sometimes they just close themselves, especially the girl child. Just find she's just quiet, and that is normal. But at a point whereby the child now doesn't want to explain herself or himself, that one can raise eyebrows. At a point where the child now doesn't even, when you ask one question, the child becomes irritated and doesn't want even to cooperate. That one can cause an alarm, and you decide now to go deeper into it. And that is when now you bring the child on a table, a round table, and try to talk with the child. What do you like us to discuss? Because that one is now above, it's overboard. In a normal situation, the child will just say, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And if you ask a question, he or she will explain herself or himself freely and express himself very well. But yet at a point whereby the child now becomes so much irritative, and you look at the siblings, the way he or she also is behaving with other siblings, becoming big-headed when he neglecting her chores in the family, and also doesn't want to make his bed or her bed, doesn't want to wash utensils, doesn't want to do normal routines at home, that one can raise an alarm. And that one will cause the parents now to go deeper, talk to the child, or even bring a professional. And that is why us as preventionists, we come in because we can detect what you cannot detect as a parent. We can see the signs deeper, what the parent cannot see. Remember, the parent is not trained, and it's not good to involve a professional in that line.
And, you know, schools are closed, and I'll take this as your closing remarks. You know, children are at home, no school, it's closed. And you know, prevention is not only about detecting these signs that we are talking about. What should parents do to ensure that their children are in an environment where they are not susceptible to getting into these problems of substance abuse?
They should sit down with their children at this moment, so much, have time with them, create life skill, come up with prevention programs, and also invite professionals who are in prevention at their homes to talk to their children when they are not around. They should be watchful on who is visiting at home. You see, who is our shamba boy or our maid associating with at home? Because it's also at this time that they get involved into, they get indulged into substance abuse so much. They should also watch, have some boundary, because this is the time parties and gatherings are so much and they're rampant. They should limit those parties and gatherings. They should limit their children to attend such parties and gatherings. Yeah.
Parents should not bring their guard down. Thank you so much for making time to come and talk about this very important issue. That has been Joseph Odhiambo Odago, who is a substance abuse professional. We have been talking about spotting these early warning signs, especially when it comes to substance abuse amongst the teenagers and adolescents. This is where this conversation ends. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike Migwe.